All right, we are live. I'm Jen Kate. This is Puck Talk. Yes, I'm solo. Was not the plan, but unfortunately, Kellen got called away for work, and I was supposed to have Tom Albano with me. But unfortunately, Tom Albano was having some tech issues and was unable to join me for this episode. So for the next 2 hours, you are going to look at my gorgeous face. That is why we are over 10 minutes late for this episode. We are trying to sort things out behind the scenes, but unfortunately, you're not able to fix the problem. So I'm just rolling solo, and if Tom can eventually get his stuff fixed and join in later, we can try to get that working. But as for now, I will be starting the show all on my own. We have a lot to go over. But before we do that, make sure you follow ETB Network on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at ETB Network. Make sure you follow Puck Talk ETB on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Puck Talk ETB. Also, make sure you follow us, subscribe to us at youtube.com/ETV Network. On our YouTube channel, we've crossed over 1,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. Keep following us. This is just the beginning of the ride for us. But guys, preseason hockey is happening. Opening day is upon us in just a few days from now. There's so much to talk about, so many things going on. Yes, I apologize. There's a lot of tech issues happening, so I'm trying to text everyone and try to figure things out. So let's kind of go over what's been going on in the NHL because there is a lot going on. Obviously, there's lots of roster changes as training camp has come to a close, preseason has started, and we are just days away from the start of opening day 2025-2026 NHL season. So obviously there's a lot of moves going on, a lot of things happening. So let's kind of start talking about it, shall we? Obviously we saw there's so many contracts. Obviously we'll start with the big one that just happened. Mason McTavish with the Anaheim Ducks. He signs a 6-year, $42 million extension carrying an average annual value of $7 million a year. So that's a great deal for him, but he did miss a part of training camp during the negotiations. But obviously, this is huge for the Ducks as they go ahead and start building their young core. Obviously, they have had some years previously where they were just not where they wanted to be overall with the way their seasons have gone, and they have decided to go young. They did really well draft. And they have a really good core. Obviously, they got Chris Kreider from the Rangers. They have a bunch of former Rangers. So I honestly think this just helps the Ducks and just nails out that they are going to be contenders for the next several years. I don't think they're going to win it this year. I think it'll be a couple years down the line. But at the same time, they're going to be a good team for many years to come. So Mason McTavish, again, big contract, young kid, will be right in front of his career. So this is an excellent, excellent, excellent move for the Ducks. I think this just, again, goes back to everything I just said, about them being good for years to come and them being absolute contenders. And I believe that. I definitely think if not this year, at least 2 to 3 years down the line, they will have a cup. So Cam Fowler signed with the Blues as he's a defenseman, 3 years, $18.3 million, a $6.1 million AAV. And this is effective through 2026-2027 NHL season. So there is that contract, which I think is great for the Blues. I don't know if they have a direction right now. I think they're just trying to do better than they did last year, but I don't see them being a contender for a few years down the line. I think they have a lot of work to do. This is obviously something that just kind of is what it is, and they are working through it. They're getting younger. They're making things happen. They're just going with it, and I think a few years down the line, they might be contenders, but at the same time, what are you going to do? They're building and they're getting good draft pieces and they're putting together a team. So, again, Cam Fowler signs a 3-year, $18.3 million contract. All right, Anthony Stolarz. Now this is an interesting one because they just signed James Reimer to a professional tryout deal as Joseph Wall has stepped away from the team due to, I believe, personal matters at home, so he is away from the team. And they signed Anthony Stolarz to a 4-year, $15 million deal worth $3.75 million AAV. Obviously, this is a good thing for the Maple Leafs because they have been known, if you guys have watched the Leafs game in the last 5 years, their goaltending has been a bit of an issue for them. And while they have a good team, obviously, they have taken a little step back, I think, with the loss of Mitch Marner to the Vegas Golden Knights, which that sign and trade deal was absolutely insane. So, yeah, but I think this is good for the Leafs until they get Joseph Wall back. Who knows when that'll be? Right now, there is no word on his return timetable. I heard he's away for personal matters, so I'm assuming once everything is good, where his personal life is back to where it was, I'm sure he'll rejoin the team and they'll move forward from there. All right. There's obviously a lot going on around the league. I want to talk about injuries because right now there's so many injuries, and we could be here all day. I could probably do the whole episode just of injuries because there's just a ridiculous amount of injuries right now. But let's start with the Florida Panthers because I want to talk about this for a second because they are down quite a few people. Down, obviously, Thomas Nozick will miss several months with a knee injury. Matthew Tkachuk is out with a torn abductor and a sports hernia and expected back sometime in December. And, of course, most concerning is Alexander Barkov, who has a potential ACL injury, which could sideline him for 7 to 9 months. Obviously, those three guys, well, the two latter ones, obviously the biggest deal right now because, again, those are both core pieces when it came to them winning that cup. Those were some of the core guys. So obviously you're going to get Matthew back in December. Again, we're still waiting to find out about Barkov. We don't know when his return timetable is. They're saying 7 to 9 months. Again, we don't know how extensive his injury is. And if it's a lot worse than they thought, it could be a lot longer. We just don't know right now. So again, the timetable they predicted is 7 to 9 months. But again, when we find out more, obviously that timetable can very much change. So, that being said, that's a huge blow for the Panthers. Obviously, as they're going for a three-peat, and obviously that's hard to do. In the words of Dance Moms, if you guys ever know that show, some of you younger ladies out there, it's hard to get to the top, but it's even harder to stay there. So obviously these injuries are concerning for the Panthers, but I think they still have such a good core that I don't think this is going to be a big of a blow as people are making it out to be. I think they're going to be okay. Will they struggle a little bit? Sure, but that's every team. Who doesn't struggle to get there? It's a long season, so a lot could change, but as of right now, I think they're going to be okay. All right, let's move on to the Leafs because they're, again, I just said their goaltending situation has been very interesting for them, and it obviously has been a struggle for them for many years. If you ever watched the Leaf game, you would know that, but we won't get into that. Obviously, Austin Matthews is on with a shoulder issue. We don't know how long that's going to take him out for. Could be short term, could be long term. Right now, we don't really know. So, they're also out Nick Roy, who has a lower body issue, Simon Bennett, upper body, and then obviously Joseph Wall absent is a non-injury related issue. But again, we spoke about that and how they have James Reimer right now and Anthony Stolarz. So I think their goaltending situation for right now is actually fun the way it is. I don't think that those guys are actually that bad. I understand they're older and I understand that presents an issue, but do I think as of right now that this Joseph Wall situation is going to be as bad as they're making it out to be and that it's non-injury related? No. I think they're going to be totally fine. I don't think this is the biggest issue that they could have had, so it is what it is. Let's move on to Tampa Bay. Obviously, the one big one is Mikhail Sergachev, who is expected to miss the start of the season. We don't know the extensive issue with the injury, but it'll take him out to start the season, so obviously that's a concern. And of course, Andrei Vasilevsky, who's recovering from a back issue, who, yes, I had on fantasy and ended up benching him because, of course, what am I supposed to do with him being injured? We'll get into that. I'll talk about my whole team and everything. Me and Tom were supposed to do that, but unfortunately, tech issues have been plaguing us, and I'm most likely will be doing a show by myself. But anyway, Also, Nick Paul is out for Tampa Bay with an upper body issue. Again, we don't have a time-stable return on his injury as of yet. All right. Ottawa Senators, they have Tyler Clevin. He's expected to return to soon after an undisclosed injury. I believe he is back, or at least is close to coming back. Again, this is not a major deal. This is one of their younger kids, so it's fine. It's not really that extensive. It's not going to hurt the team in any way. All right. Buffalo. Okay. Let's talk about this for a moment, shall we? Because Buffalo. How many times are you going to hire Lindy Rupp, and how many times is he going to have to clean up your mess? The Buffalo Sabres are going to go nowhere. I think they're going to have a bad season again. Yeah, they have some good pieces, but they have a lot of their guys out injured right now, so how good can they actually be? They have Alex Tuch out with an undisclosed injury, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with a lower body injury, Jordan Greenway with a lower body, and Carson Meyer with an ACL, and all three. And all are day-to-day or out, which is not shocking. Montreal has William True. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Undisclosed, and Kirby Dutch is a day-to-day with a lower body injury and is out for an undisclosed amount of time. Carolina Hurricane Mark Jankowski is out day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. Rangers Panarin, who was day-to-day. Braden Schneider was on IR, but is going to go in for the Rangers tonight for the preseason game at UBS Arena versus the Islanders. So he is believed to be back, and Panarin is also back. So the Rangers right now, the only injury they have to worry about is JT Miller, who went down with what looked to me from the video I saw a knee injury, but again, we just don't know right now. He skated off the ice under his own power, so that's good. That's obviously reassuring. But right now, we just don't know the extent of it, and he is not playing in tonight's game. He was at practice this morning and did go off the ice and never returned. So we will keep an eye out on that, and if any updates come out, we will share those with you at this time. Obviously, Islanders are out without Captain Anders Lee for 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury. Goalie Simeon Varlamov and Jesse Normie are out with knee injuries. Pittsburgh, all right. They have a very extensive list. Rutger McGroarty, who they just got in the draft, he is out indefinitely with an upper body injury. They have Lars Eller out with an abdominal injury. Nick Jensen has a hip injury. Kevin Hayes upper body. Bill Zanin undisclosed. Tanner Howe has a ACL injury and will probably not be back. And Joel Blomqvist is out day today with a lower body injury. Moving on to the Washington Capitals. He is Alex Ovechkin is currently sidelined with a lower body injury. We don't have an injury or what the injury was or the type of injury or the timetable for his return. So we will see. Flyers have Tyson Foerster out. Is confident he'll be ready for the opener, but is out day-to-day currently. Carson Dorwat is day-to-day. Rasmus Ristolainen is out with a tricep injury. Ryan Ellis is out for the season. New Jersey Devils, Stefan Nozen is out with a groin injury, and Jonathan Kolevic is out with a knee injury. We can keep going here, but the ones I want to get to are Dallas, who has Jamie Benn out, who had surgery on a collapsed lung. Obviously, we wish him nothing but the best and a speedy recovery. Obviously, Jamie Benn has been with Dallas for a very long time. He has been around the league forever. He's a legend, so we wish him well in his recovery. Blackhawks, obviously, Connor Bedard is out with a lower body. He's had a history of injury, so. Logan O'Connor is out for Colorado. He had hip surgery. He'll be missed 5 to 6 months. Mackenzie Blackwood was lower body and was week to week. And Sam Girard is out with lower body and will miss part of training camp. I believe he is back, so I'm not as worried about that one. What else did I want to talk about? I don't remember who think it was Alex Alexander Barkov, yeah, with his ACL injury, that sucks. They're saying 7 to 9 months. We don't know if that's the actual timetable yet. They are still running tests and doing stuff, so I guess we'll know more soon. Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of injuries right now going on. I mean, I could be here all night talking about injuries, but again, Corey Perry's out with a knee injury. We don't have a return timetable on his injury. Alex Pietrangelo is out with a hip injury, but does say he does want to come back as soon as he's feeling good. So we'll keep an eye out on that. All right, let's get to the fun part of the show now, shall we? Let's talk about Marc-Andre Fleury and his return to Pittsburgh for one final preseason game where they did an honorary shootout for him. Unfortunately, they did not win that game, but Fleury got showered with so much love and just so many things. And it's cool to see that. He went into retirement, he came out for this final game. He's gonna go into the Hall of Fame. It's just a matter of time right now. I think it's a certain amount of years you have to wait. I think it's between 3 and 5 years. So yeah, but honestly, from the videos and pictures that have been posted by multiple sources online, he looked like he had the absolute time of his life. The fans were loving it. They were on their feet chanting his name, giving him a standing ovation every time he touched a puck. So, I mean, we all love Marc-Andre Fleury. He's been around the league for ages. He's a legend. His goalie style is very much an acrobatic style, which we don't see a lot of anymore in this day and age. But he was such a good goaltender in the fact that he was so out there with his movements and the way he would flip around and throw himself on the floor and stretch himself out and make ridiculous saves. I mean, we could be here all day looking at some of his saves and just the amount of love he's gotten, and it's really cool. I wish I could have been there, but a huge congratulations to Marc-Andre Fleury on finally retirement, even though he technically was already in retirement before coming out for this one game. So, yeah. It was amazing. He signed, obviously, a PTO, and he stopped all 8 shots they faced in the third period. They did win the actual game, but they did not win the shootout. I should clarify that. They won in 4-1 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. And obviously, fans were very emotional, as was he. And I actually watched a young content creator who's another hockey content creator. His username on TikTok is Crash the Blue Paint. He's also on Instagram and multiple other platforms. He was actually at the game, and it was cool because he said after the game was over, fans were lining up to see him, and he literally stood there the whole time and signed for almost every single person that was waiting for him. So what a nice guy Marc-Andre Fleury is, and what a way for fans to send him off. I believe, but I know the Pittsburgh arena was completely sold out. So that's cool to see. I know it's only preseason. I know people say preseason doesn't matter. But things like this are bigger than preseason. It's bigger than the NHL. It's sending a guy off who's done so much for this league, and he's grown the game so much. And so many goaltenders that have come after him have learned from him. I heard everyone loved him. No one had a bad thing to say about him. So, Marc-Andre Fleury, thank you for all you've done, all you'll continue to do for the game of hockey, and enjoy your retirement, bud. And we look forward to seeing you get your name in the Hall of Fame pretty soon. So, we'll be on the lookout for that. But I wish I could show the video. I do not have it available. I forgot to download it. So, but Bar Down, TSN, multiple other platforms have posted it. The Pittsburgh Penguins have done some stuff. So, look it up. I'm sure it's out there on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you get your content. It's out there. So, all right. Obviously, we're going to do our fantasy team roster, and I can go over that with you guys now because I have it here. Sorry, let me pull up my roster here. And just a disclaimer, I did have to change a bunch of my players out because I did have like 6 or 7 players on IR or LTIR, so fun. So let's take a look at my team. I have for my forwards, I have Will Cooley, obviously, of the Rangers. I believe I have Michael Grunland from the Ducks. I have Mitch Marner, formerly of Toronto Maple Leafs, but now he is a Vegas Golden Knight. I have Valerie Nichushkin of the Colorado Avalanche. I have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins of the Oilers. Steven Stamkos of the Nashville Predators, sorry. John Tavares, formerly of the Islanders. He's now a Toronto Maple Leaf. Vincent Trocheck of the Rangers. And, of course, Trevor Zegras of Philly, formerly a Anaheim Duck. For my defense, I have Will Borgen of the Rangers. Philip Broberg of the St. Louis Blues. I have Bowen Byram, who's out day to day, but he is for the Buffalo Sabres. Vladimir Gregorov, formerly of the Kings. He's now a Ranger. Braden McNabb, also of Vegas. I have Matty Beniers, who is also another forward, but I have him currently as one of my utility players. And then I have 3 guys bench. I have Nazem Kadri, Patrick Kane, and Mark Stone. Those are my 3 guys who are sitting on the bench to start the season. I think all 3 of those guys are probably going to get off to kind of a slow start anyway, so I didn't have a problem doing that. All right, let's talk about my goaltending situation because I kind of screwed this up big time. And I kind of want to address it because I was not able to address it during the draft that we did last week. So I want to talk about it. I had originally Andre Vasilevsky and Jordan Binnington as my starting goaltenders. As I discussed a little earlier, Andre Vasilevsky is out on injury, still recovering from a back injury, which I totally had forgotten about at the time. So I have him benched till he can come back and be ready to play. I replaced him with Jonathan Quick as a backup, but I have Jordan Binnington of the Blues starting for me. And then on the bench, I also have Charlie Lindgren of the Washington Capitals, brother of Ryan Lindgren, formerly of the Rangers, and now he is a Colorado Avalanche player. So that is my team currently. I might make some trades here and move some people around, but that is currently my team. Surprisingly, from how I did originally, I moved a lot of players around. I dropped some players, I got some new players, I moved some players because of injury. So I feel like I have a pretty solid team here. Obviously, let me know in the comments, either on YouTube or any on our social medias. Let me know what you want me to change. Because honestly, we have a long season coming up. So if you feel my team's not good enough and you want me to change something, please feel free to let me know. Because at this point, I like my team, but I feel like I'm going to get rolled in the comments for not picking certain players. So, and yes, just to make a joke out of a situation, I did take Andre Vasilevsky, forgetting he was injured with my first overall pick in the draft. Yeah. I'll call myself out for that one because that was an interesting situation. Oh, right. Where was I in my lineup here? 1 second. All right, let's go to a little bit of women in hockey and growing the game segment. Rebecca Johnson retires from the 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Rebecca Johnson has announced her retirement from the Canadian women's national team. Johnson, who won Olympic gold in 2010, 2014, and 2022, is one of the most decorated players in the history of the women's game. She now works for the Calgary Flames in a player development role. Congratulations to her on her retirement, and congratulations on her new position with the Calgary Flames. Tom, I do see you are here. If you're still having issues, that's fine, but if you want to join in at some point, you can.
Try one more time.
You're still muted, bud. Not sure what's going on. Let's talk early season predictions because I have a few hot takes I want to share with you because it's been an interesting theory for me. But I think the Rangers are taking a huge step back. Obviously, the loss of Chris Kreider, they traded Keandre Miller. They had Braden Schneider on IR to start the year, but he apparently is playing tonight for the Rangers in preseason, so that's an interesting one. Obviously, Artemi Panarin out, but he was more a cautionary tale, so I don't see that being a further issue. I think he's totally fine from what I've heard, so that's good. Obviously, the one we're watching is JT Miller currently for the Rangers, but overall, I don't think the Rangers team is as good as they've once been, so I believe they're going to take a huge step back. Yeah, but I honestly fully believe that the Ducks are going to be in like the top 5 of teams. Like I think they're going to have a very good year. Obviously, they got Chris Kreider. They made a bunch of additions of that draft, so they have a lot of good players. So I really do think they have a solid team, and that will be the hill that I die on. And yeah, I think the Ducks are one of the bigger teams for me that are really going to do well. Obviously, the Panthers, I still think they're going to take a little step back just because of all the injuries they've been having with obviously Matthew Chuck, now Barkov, and all the other players they have out on injury. But I still think their team is so solid up and down that lineup that while this is going to hurt, I don't think it's going to affect them as badly as it would, let's say, other teams who had their big names out. It would probably hurt them a lot more. I think the Panthers are so stacked that it doesn't matter. I still think they're going to be in the top 5 of teams. They might even go for the 3. They're going to go for the 3-peat. Do I think they're going to get it? It's possible. But as of right now, it's just way too early to tell. But I think the Islanders are going to take a step up. I think they have a really good roster this year. They did really well. They obviously got rid of Lou Lamoriello. They obviously made some really good picks during the draft. Obviously, they got Matthew Schaefer, the number 1 overall pick. So I think they're going to have a really good year. I think the Flyers are going to have a decent year. I think the Flyers are going to do well with the fact that they have Zegers now. They got rid of John Tortorella. They got rid of a lot of the problems that they were having. So I think right now for the Flyers, while they can be a really good team, I think it's really going to be right now about team chemistry. And I'm not sure they're going to have that just because all their players are so young and probably have never played together before. So I think, well, they're going to have a good season. I don't think they make top 5. I think maybe top 10, maybe. But I definitely don't agree with top 5. I don't think they're that good of a team as of yet. I think they will be down the line. But for this upcoming season, I just don't see them being a powerhouse. Obviously, the Capitals, obviously, they have Ovi and Carlson. They have a bunch of their old core, but they're not the same team that won the Cup a few years ago. So I think while they had a miracle run, but they got knocked out in the first round after winning the President's Trophy, I will say it. I go on record to say this. That is the curse of the President's Trophy. You do not want the President's Trophy. I don't care. Come in second place and go win the whole thing. But I just don't. I think Ovi's an absolute powerhouse. I think they're sneaky good, but at the same time, everyone's gotten so much better. I don't see them taking a huge step forward. Do I think they make top 10 of teams overall? Maybe, but I just don't think they're as good as people are making them out to be. So I know some of these are very hot takes, but Tampa Bay. Do I think they're good? Yes. Do I think they're as good as they were when they won those 2 back-to-back cups? Absolutely not. Yes, they have a similar core. Yes, they lost a lot of pieces. Yes, they have a ton of injuries. With that all being said, the fact is that they're always a sneaky good team, and we cannot underestimate them. But I think the Panthers right now are a better, well-oiled machine team than obviously of the Lightning are at the moment. I think the Oilers are going to be a top 3 team again. I really think they're going to have another solid year. I think they're so close to getting over that hurdle. If they can fix their goaltending issues, they're going to be so golden. Like, they're going to win. They're going to bring the cup home to Canada at some point. It's coming, Oilers fans. I promise. It's coming. Obviously, then you have... Who else is really good this year? Just trying to think, because there were so many moves made. Yeah, all the teams I named, I think Dallas is another sneaky good team. I think, again, a lot of the Western Division teams are good. It's just black and blue. I mean, it could be anybody's game at any time. It's a long season, injuries. So I really think that right now it's anybody's game, but I definitely think the Panthers are up there, the Ducks, Oilers. Um, who else was in it last year? I don't remember. Felt like so long ago. It's only been 3 or 4 months, and it feels like a year. So the bottom feeders, I think the Blue Jackets are going to be another bottom feeder this year. I just don't think they're as good as they once were. The Predators, well, I think they could have a much better year than they did last year. I just, again, they're not. They throw money at everybody, but it doesn't mean you have chemistry with your team. So I just don't think they're again going to be doing much better as they've ever done. I believe. Who else did I say was going to be bottom feeders this year? I think Vegas is an interesting one. I don't think they're going to be bottom feeders, but I don't think they're going to be in the. I think they're kind of right in the middle. They almost remind me of the Seattle Kraken as well, because Seattle, well, they've made some good moves. They obviously re-signed Kapakaka. They, kept a lot of their core pieces. They, with the coaching change, they obviously went through a lot of changes, but they also kept a lot of their core pieces that they're going to build around together, which is always a nice thing. But I just don't see them being a great team this year. I think they're going to be good, and I think they have definitely a good possibility of making playoffs. But I just don't see them beating teams like the Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes. That's another team I forgot to mention earlier. Just all the big teams again. The Oilers. I think Colorado's going to be another top team. Dallas. I don't see a team like Seattle or Vegas or Nashville or the Columbus Blue Jackets or the St. Louis Blues or any of those teams or Sabres. I don't see them beating the top tier teams in our league. I don't think they did enough during the offseason to really set themselves apart. I think I think they're all gonna have decent seasons. I don't think it could be really as bad as they think it's gonna be, but again, these are just my opinions. Please take them with a grain of salt. Again, who am I? I'm just a girl who does a podcast every week about hockey because it's your favorite sport. So take what I say with a grain of salt, please. Let's talk about this overall season because there's been so many changes. Obviously, we have the new CBA. We have injuries left and right. We have obviously a lot of retirements. Speaking of retirement, there was actually one other topic I wanted to talk about. Where is it? 1 second. Max Pacioretty is also possibly retiring either before the season starts or at the end of the season. So, with that being said, if this is true, again, nothing has been completely confirmed as of yet. At the same time, if this is true, obviously that's a huge loss for the league. Again, Max Pacioretty is another one of those guys who's been around the league absolutely since, I could remember him way back when I was young. He was in the league and he was killing it. So, obviously, if this is true, we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. We thank him for everything he's done for the game and everything he'll continue to do for the game. Because, again, just because you leave the league does not mean your time with the league is done. It's just moving to a different capacity. A lot of players go on to be coaches or front office roles or ambassador roles or whatever role they get within the organization. They come back, they help with practice, they help with training camp. So while it's different, their NHL journeys aren't done just because they hang it up. A lot of them go and be with their kids for a few years. They coach their kids, and then they come back and they are coaching or whatever they're going to do. So, again, Max Pacioretty possibly retiring. Again, if we find out that is confirmed, we will share that with you. But until right now, that is just a rumor. So, we'll wait to hear what's going to go on with that. What else? I mean, we have so many injuries. I mean, we should call this league the LTIR league because the amount of injuries is absolutely ridiculous. But let's go over Connor Ingram because He was placed on waivers and it was cleared, and he's now with the AHL's Tucson Roadrunners. Yeah, unfortunately, Connor Ingram, while he is a good goalie, there's just so much talent in this league, and there's so many good players that unfortunately stuff like this is way too common. I'll bring up another situation like this. Zach Jones for the Rangers got traded to Buffalo, and then he got cut just super recently, and he is now, I believe, either on waivers or whatever, and he's going to go down to the minor leagues. I assume he's going to probably end up either playing in the minor league for the year, or he's going to go over to probably the KHL or wherever to finish out his career. Unfortunately, while he was a great player, he just was never good enough to make the big league teams. So, yeah, that's another issue that we had going on. Okay, here's a funny conversation. Again, we don't have proof of any of this. It came out online and I thought it was hilarious, so I want to share it with you guys. This is probably going to end up being our sin bin segment for this week. I know it's a little weird because I'm alone, but Tyler Toffoli convinced a young Sharks player that Carey Price will be making a comeback. I can't have a straight face. That is like probably one of the most ridiculous things Tyler Toffoli could have said. But yet it's absolutely hilarious, and honestly, I love that. This Sharks team, well, I don't think they're gonna do. I think they're trying to turn the ship around. They definitely took a downhill slide last year. I think this year though they're gonna be somewhat of a decent put together team. I don't think they're gonna be anything spectacular. But do I think they're gonna be a bad team and probably be a lot of maybe? But the vibes from this team, because if anyone saw the Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, and Tyler Toffoli sleepover bobblehead that we showed a few weeks ago, has come out and is publicly being sold now, and it is hilarious. I love it. I want one. And now this Tyler Toffoli thing with a young Sharks player, just telling him to Carey Price is entering the league again, which is not true, by the way. That is false. Please do not believe that. That is very fake. Obviously, they're just showing that they're having a good time and they're all connecting and they're having fun together. And I really think in a few years they're going to be a really, really good team to watch. And I think they're such a young, developing team. Obviously, the league, me and say every week, the league is only getting younger. It's not getting older. It's getting younger. So I think in a few 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're going to be an excellent team. I think they definitely could have a chance at a cup in a few years. So definitely keep them on the list of teams to watch this year. I think it's going to be interesting to see their chemistry on the ice compared to the chemistry that they have as friends off the ice. So I think that's another interesting topic. And it's a topic for discussion for sure around this league because of the fact that you can be best friends with someone you've lived them your whole life, but then look at okay. I'm actually going to use this example because it actually makes valid sense. Look at Kane and Panarin when they were on the Blackhawks together. How good they were together. And then they came and they were separated for a few years, and they came back and they played on the Rangers together, and the chemistry just wasn't there. And it just didn't seem to produce the way they originally intended it to. And that's what I'm saying. That I don't think the Sharks are gonna have the same exact situation as that, but I definitely think it's a relevant conversation because of the fact it's very similar and the fact that you can be playing with somebody and have good chemistry and then you guys get separated or whatever and then you come back and it's not there anymore. So I'm interested to see how the young Sharks team and development staff and all that turn that off ice chemistry into on ice chemistry. So I'm very interested to see if the transition itself works and it actually connects and flows on the ice. Because if so, they're a team to watch. So mark my words, if things work out, they're a team to watch. Pardon me, I'm having a bit of a sore throat right now, so Another interesting injury is Alex Kerfoot, who was a former Toronto Maple Leaf, is now a Utah Mammoth, and he's out with a lower body injury. So again, that's something interesting to watch. The Utah Mammoths, okay. You guys know that they got sued originally. They were suing a different company. Obviously, that didn't work out for them. They have their couple of their guys are injured. I think again they're going to be a bottom feeder team this year. Again, they're very much representing the team that they took over and then they moved the state. They remind me very much of the Arizona Coyotes, and they're doing a very much Arizona Coyote thing where they basically say they're going to be really good. They have their fit, and then they're just not, and then they just fall short of expectation. That's what I think the Utah Mammoths are going to be this year. I don't think they exceed expectation whatsoever. I think, honestly, if anything, they're probably going to be worse than people expected. So, keep that in mind. Oh, excuse me. Um, I mean, again, as I said, we could be here all day talking about injuries because there's just so many injuries right now. For the Oilers, another one to watch is Zach Hyman is still out with that wrist injury. I hope he comes back soon. He's a phenomenal player. I believe he owns a team, an OHL team that one of my friends works for. So I have to look that up and tell you guys more about that. But yeah, Seattle Kraken Chandler Stevenson is out day to day with an undisclosed injury. Nathan Villeneuve is out with a lower body injury. Leighton Road is out with an upper body injury. Max McCormick is out with a hip injury. Brandon Montour is out with an ankle injury. Yeah, as I said, Seattle's going to be a bottom feeder this year. They did some good things. They made some nice moves. They changed coaches. Obviously, that always takes a while to kick in. But at the end of the day, the problem is they have so many guys injured. The chemistry's just not there, and I just don't see them beating again. Team like the Panthers, the Oilers, the Stars, Carolina Hurricanes, all the big name markets. I just don't see them beating. So yeah, that's really it for big names that are out. Oh, according to speculation, Tyler Toffoli, when he said it to a young Sharks player, turns out I believe that player was Will Smith. And Will Smith apparently was very excited and believed it the most before the prank was revealed. Obviously, I think Will is going to take this in good fun. I don't think he thinks this is a serious thing. I think he's having fun with it. Again, I'm no Sharks fan, but I believe me when I say I think this team is going to be fun to watch for the next few years. So I'm looking forward to, again, seeing them how they take that chemistry from the locker room standpoint to on the ice. I'm excited to see them this season. So we'll definitely be following up with the Sharks and how they are going with their season. Another injury, and I forgot to, I think I may have mentioned it, but Sam Girard is out with a lower body injury and missed part of training camp. I believe he is back. So, for the Ducks, Jansen Hankins is out with an upper body injury. LA Kings, Angus Booth is out with a lower body injury. As we said, Corey Perry is out with that knee injury. I assume he's going to miss quite some amount of time as he is an older guy. I believe he is in either approaching his 40s or in his early 40s. Um, Obviously, this is a huge list of injuries. Which one of these injuries is most impactful to the team season? As I said, I really don't think many of these are as serious as we have made them out to be. Do I think it hurts some teams? Sure. But do I think the teams are so good and have so much talent that this is not a huge blow? Yes, but I think the two that are affected most are obviously, as I said, the Panthers and the Dallas Stars with the loss of star Jamie Benn, who was out with a collapsed lung after, I believe he was taken off at practice. So not good. We wish him nothing but the best in his recovery. But let's go back to our fantasy league a minute, because I feel like I didn't do a very good job last week, and I apologize to those of you who were watching and who did follow us last week when we did the draft. The people who were in the draft with us. So I'm gonna kind of read you out our lineup, because we are a 10-team league. We did a snake style draft, which just meant we go in the order of whoever was first and whoever was last, and then the last player got to go again. So the last player and the first player all get 2 picks in a row. Everyone else just goes back in their normal order, except it's in reverse every other um, way. So it's like the first picks were all good, and then it went in reverse order, and then back to the start of the regular order, and then reverse order again. So we did that last week. We had on a lot of our friends, so thank them for. I seriously thank. If you guys are watching this or you guys see this, thank you guys for coming out. Like, that was so much fun. But let me kind of break everything down for you guys a little bit more, because I feel like I didn't do a very good job last week of breaking everything down. So let's kind of talk about that. Obviously, we have Brianna Blackman, who is one of my good friends. She is a Rangers fan. She joined us. Nick Zaris is a Rangers fan. He joined us on stream. Kay was in and out, but he is again another Rangers fan. Yes, I know that's why I had Callan do the picks for who goes in what order, because I did not want anyone to. I was homering this entire thing. Tyler Gianchetta, who is one of my good friends, he is an Islanders fan. One of the only Islander fans that we have that was on here for a hockey show. Josh is also an Islanders fan, but I believe he's also a Blackhawks fan. So he goes both ways for that team. We had Chad, who wasn't with us for the actual draft, as Josh was also not a part of the live stream, but they were both there for the draft. Chad is again a Rangers fan. Yes, I know it sounds like I homered this entire thing. Then you had Tom Albano, who was supposed to be with me here for this episode. He's also a Rangers fan. He is not here because, again, as we said at the top of the show, that's why our show was 10 minutes late. We were having tech issues. He did try to join me on stage, but unfortunately his mic is not working right now. We're not sure what was going on with that, but we're going to hope to get it fixed within the next hour. Callum McClurg, my co-host, who is not here, he's away for work. He is a Ducks fan, as you guys all know. And Neil Villapiano, who was not here for the draft, but who's not here for the live stream part of the draft, but did do the draft. He is a Devils fan. We had him on a few weeks ago. We had a great interview with him. You can check out all our clips on Puck Talk ETB, on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. For all those clips, they're all out there, so you can find those. So that is kind of how our draft went. It was fun. Definitely a lot of good players went early, as was kind of to be expected. And yeah, let me do my Novig read. So 1 second here. Novig, nope, never mind. 1 second. Stop betting against the house with Novig. You play against real users, keep 100% of your winnings, and get 1,000 Novig coins plus $5 Novig cash just for signing up. Use code ETB Network. That's ETB NETWORK, and get in the game today. So this is also Sports Fans Novig is flipping the betting game on its head. It's America's #1 sports prediction market, available in 35 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and New York. On Novig, you're 10 times more likely to win than with a traditional sportsbook, because you're not betting against the house, you're playing against real users. It's the only free exchange where you keep 100% of your own winnings. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code ETB Network. That's ETB NETWORK. You'll score 1,000 Nova coins plus $5 Nova cash. Plus spend $5 and get $50 in bonus coins. Must be 21 or older and gamble responsibly. I was hoping to have a guest here. This would be a little easier for me. I do apologize if there's any moments of downtime. I do need to give myself a breath. 2 hours of a show by myself is a long show, so still have another hour to go, and I have like nothing to talk about. Obviously, I wish I can talk about all about the Rangers, but I can't help with this whole thing, so I have to keep it professional. So there's that. Yeah, pardon me, I'm a little nervous. I've never been by myself before, and I wasn't planning to be by myself. As we said, my banner was supposed to be here filling in for Callan McClurg, who is not here because Callan is working tonight. But Tom was having some technical issues, so I'm gonna scroll around to see if I can find any of my friends who can come on kind of last second and join me for the last hour of our show. Don't know if we'll be able to get anyone off the top, but I'm going to try to get somebody here within the next hour. I am reaching out to some people, guys. I do apologize for the awkward silence. I am trying to work on getting somebody here if it's possible. So please just bear with me here. This, again, was completely unexpected. That is why the show was 10 minutes late. Because, again, I was sitting with Tom trying to help him with his tech issues, but unfortunately I was not sure what was going on. So I didn't know how to help him. So I'm trying to reach out to people. I'm trying to make things happen. Again, I apologize if the show is just really awkward, jumbled, and like confusing because, again, I'm trying to go through everything I can, talk about everything that's been going on around the league. Again, being by yourself, it's hard to do a 2-hour show, so I do apologize for that. I'm trying to keep it as professional as possible and not show me this whole thing. I'm also trying to scroll through Twitter to see if there's any breaking news or any updates. Again, I do apologize for the silence as I am trying to find somebody to fill in, but because the show is already in progress, it's definitely making it way more difficult. So I'm working on getting somebody here. So again, do stand by for that. If I get any updates, I will let you guys know. Okay, so we do have a breaking news update. JT Miller is reportedly from Peter Botch. He is fine and will likely practice tomorrow, but is a scratch for tonight's game just out of abundance of caution. So that is a good positive update that this is nothing serious and more likely they did this out of abundance of caution. So I'm happy to hear that this is nothing serious. Um, yeah, again, I'm just trying to scroll any sort of market to any like major news outlet to see. 3 hours ago, Lucas Dostel of the Ducks is listed day today with a lower body injury. That's a new update. That's good. Not good, but like good for my show because it helps me fill time. The Winnipeg Jets announced that defenseman Dylan Sandberg will miss the next 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. More, I swear to God, I said it to Callan as a joke off camera when we were getting the show set up earlier in the week before he got called into work earlier this morning. Yeah, I swear to God, I said it and I meant it. This league should be changed from the NHL to the LTIR league because we have injuries almost on every single team of almost one player from every team of the all 32 NHL teams, which is absolutely insane. Again, I apologize for the silence. I am like asking around to see if anybody's able to help me fill in because 2 hour show is a tough show to fill in by yourself. So I wish I had more topics to go over because again, I mean we can go over. I mean, I forget who it was that I had written down originally. I took some stuff out to help move stuff around. So I guess while I'm sitting here, I can try to send myself some photos from Marc-Andre Fleury's last game. We can talk about that a little bit more. Again, I'm just trying to fill time here, guys, because I'm like running out of things to say. Apologize, guys. I'm just pulling some stuff to show for time filler's sake. So, 1 second as I get this set up. So, obviously, we have here that is the little like flower thing and his number that they put up for him as he was walking into the arena. I know it's a small picture. It's the best I could do off Instagram in a short notice. He obviously was very emotional after that. I wish I could have gotten the whole video up. I do not have time to download that at the moment. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, so this one we can talk about because it's actually a pretty funny story. As you guys can see, if you guys can see it on the bottom in the red, it says fans were chanting one more year for Marc-Andre Fleury, and this is his response was, "Thank you, I'm tired, my hips sore." Yeah, the guy I believe is in his like late 30s, early 40s. So yeah, I'm gonna look up how old he actually is. Yeah, so he's 40 years old. So he'll be 41 come December. So obviously there's a look at him in his hockey equipment. Here's some more images of him and his equipment. And of course, the Penguins did a nice tribute saying he is a Pittsburgh Penguin once more. As this will be his final game ever, what is believed to be his final game ever on NHL ice. So obviously, they did a really nice thing in trying to honor him and really make his last game very memorable, which he said it was. And he was very emotional. He did cry all at the end of the game after they did the a shootout in honor of his last game. They both teams stayed out on the ice as he got the first star of the game. All the fans standing gave him a standing ovation. Both players of both teams and both coaching staffs were out there to greet him and wish him well in his retirement. So that was really nice. Obviously, well done to Marc-Andre Fleury, who's had an amazing career. He's been in the NHL since he played for 21 seasons with a professional career beginning in 2003 and including in 2025. After he made his NHL debut with the Penguins on October 10th, 2003. So, yeah, he's been in the league a very, very, very long time, and we wish him well, and we look forward to, again, him having his number retired by the Penguins most likely, and at some point he will go into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, those of you who want to fight me on that, go ahead, but I believe that he will get in just based on his numbers. I can close this now. But yeah, that was Marc-Andre Fleury's last NHL game, so we discussed that. We did the Cam Fowler extension, we did Mason McTavish, we did Anthony Stolarz, we did the JT Miller update, Max Pacioretty. Yeah, so there's really not much else to update as my Rangers take on the Islanders in a preseason matchup at UBS Arena tonight. We could go over that if I wanted to, but we're not going to do that because that make me sound like I'm really homering this entire thing, and I'm not. I promise. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Um, I might call it almost an hour early, which I don't really want to do, but I'm gonna see what they want me to do. Yeah, I'm reaching out to the guys of ETB to see kind of what they want me to do here, and yeah, so let's see if there's any other games on besides the Rangers, and let's go over some scores while we sit here. There are several games actually being played currently. The Panthers are playing the Hurricanes, and the Panthers are up 1-0 on the Hurricanes with in the second period 11:13 left. And we had the Rangers and Islanders. The Rangers are up 1-0 in period one with 14:11 left. That means they just started and somebody scored immediately off the cuff. Let's find out who that was. Since I'm sitting here. Oh, they won't update it, so it means it must have just happened because they won't even tell me who it was. Let me see if I can figure out who the heck scored. Yuso Parsonen scored from Will Cooley and Connor Mackey. So well done to him. It was at 5:30, but they count down backwards. So it was about 5 minutes into the period. Flyers and Bruins are playing. They are tied at 0-0 with 12:28 remaining in the first period. And then we have Penguins and Red Wings. The Penguins are up 1-0 with 15:18 left to play in the first period. And the goal scorer for the Penguins was Benjamin Kindle, which must be one of the young kids. So that is all the score updates for the games that are currently going on. We have two more games tonight. Yeah, two more. So we have at 10 p.m. we have Calgary and the Kraken, and we have the Sharks and the Ducks also taking place at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm just trying to see if there's any other breaking NHL news. All right, while we're sitting here because I'm by myself and was not expecting this, let's go over the Rangers starting lineup because why not? I have it here. So you have number 50 Will Cooley, number 71 Juuso Parsons who scored the opening goal. You have number 94 Gabe Rousseau, number 18 Euro Valkonainen, number 4 Braden Schneider, and number 31 Igor Shesterkin. Well, while we're sitting here, let me do some. Oh, what just happened? Okay, that was weird. It crashed for a second, but I fixed it. Alrighty. So currently, if I have my Novig app open, so shout out to Novig. The Rangers are a 1.5 favorite over the Islanders, and they're over 6.5 goals score total. But I don't really think that's gonna be true. I would, if you were to do a bet on that, I would definitely take the under. But I am not gonna do it myself because I'm out of money on Novig. Um, Degenerate gambler, but that's a joke. All right, it is 2-0 Panthers in that game. And the goal scorer for that was. I'd like to find out who scored that goal. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't tell me. So I'm going to look over here. Jack Studnicka and Sandis Valmans. Yeah, I'm assuming those are their AAA guys. Because I have never heard of those players before. With that being said, guys, I'm going to head out because there's not much else to talk about, and I will catch you guys next week. Have a good night.